Hi, everybody. My name is Sharon C. Jenkins, and I am the host of 40 Plus and Flirty. And I'm just loving this dating summit, and I hope you are too. I have the distinct privilege of being the last presenter for today, and I want to share my presentation with you about how to write your own love story. Let's let's see what that means. Okay, write your love story, creating the happily ever after you deserve. And you deserve a happily ever after. So let's walk through the steps of you writing your own love story. So, in this particular presentation, you'll learn how to understand past chapters, clarify your desires, shift old narratives, those things that you told yourself over and over and over again, and create your next chapter and begin an action plan. So, this whole workshop is about equipping you to move forward and to get unstuck. You are the author. You craft your story. Okay? Your life is a love story, but it's not a story that's happening to you. It's a story to help you get to shape. Okay? Mm, I don't like this. So we are going to stop and start again. Hi. By now, you know who I am. I am Sharon C. Jenkins. I am your summit host, and I have the distinct privilege of doing the very last workshop today. I have this great presentation for you that's going to take you from being stuck in a place where you can move forward to getting the love that you deserve. Okay, so let's start. Write your love story, creating the happily ever after you deserve. Okay. So, what you're going to learn today is understand your past chapters, clarify your desires, shift old narratives, create your next chapter, and begin an action plan. You are the author of your next chapter. You are the main character. Your past is just a chapter, not the whole book. So you need to put the pen back in your hands because you are in charge. Life does not hold you captive to your past. You are empowered to move forward. Sometimes we get comfortable where we are. And in that being comfortable, we start to build a home. We start to find a place of comfort. We start to smell the flowers and enjoy our dysfunction. But you are so much more than that. And if you desire love, you can have it. So your past chapters are your past chapters. And I want you to take a minute and think about your past. And the prompt is my most painful chapter taught me. There's always a lesson to learn. when you are revisiting your past. It makes you stronger, it builds character, and it helps you to decide where to put up boundaries. So your past isn't your future. It's not the thing that you create to move forward, but you need to know that it was there because it was a teaching tool. Rewrite your narrative. So if you're telling yourself, I'm too old, I have too much baggage, I'm too big, I'm too, that's your old narrative. You need to come up with a new narrative. Remember, beliefs shape choices. You can rewrite the script by simply changing what you believe. And I said simply because the wording that you need to wrap yourself in is simple. So simple that your brain will eventually embrace it. But first, you need to be intentional about rewriting that narrative. If your narrative is I'm too old, well, all you have to do is look up online dating apps and you will see tons of online dating apps that cater to your age group. So are you too old? No, because these things wouldn't exist if you were too old. Know your main character. Know yourself. That's important. Sometimes we let the past wrap us in things that aren't the truth about us or no longer the truth. When I was young, a young woman, okay, I used to love to wear a red haired wig, curly afro wig. Okay, well, I'm a bit older now, so my preference is either all black or gray. No more red wigs for me because my age dictates, my maturity dictates that I have a different preference. So know your main character. You are not the woman who was in the relationship a year ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. You learned something from that. So it's time to move forward. What I'd like you to do is to take a pen and paper out and write 3 words describing your healthiest self. For me, those words would be I'm intelligent, I'm mission focused, and I'm purpose driven. What are the 3 words that describe your healthiest self? And then after that, I want you to write 3 values you won't sacrifice. For me, I will never sacrifice who I am to have someone else in my life. I am enough, and I embrace that. I also won't sacrifice my love for God. I will not water down my commitment to live a life that honors Him. And then, last but not least, I I am in a position to love what I do, who I am, and who is in my life. I won't sacrifice that for anyone. I am an individual who knows what she wants. So again, take a few minutes and write down 3 words that describe your healthiest self and 3 values you won't sacrifice. Now, here's where the fun starts. What is your vision for love? And the prompt here is in my next relationship, I want to feel. For me, in my next relationship, I want to feel loved. I want that individual to walk in a room and be laser focused on finding me. Their heart skips a beat when they see me. That's what I want to feel in my relationship. Like I'm the only person in the room full of people because my lover is seeking and searching for me. Yours may be different. Have fun with this prompt. The next thing is patterns and plot twists. We live in a world where we may plan something, but unfortunately, life be life, and it may not happen exactly the way that we want. So that can be negative or it can be positive, and we can be the engine behind the result. So I want you to identify repeating patterns in your life that don't serve you. And then I want you to set a boundary for your next chapter. For example, a repeating pattern in my life would be the negative things that I think about myself when I approach dating. Like, I'm too old. Okay. Well, that's a lie. We dispelled that lie in the first on the first slide. So my boundary for the next chapter of my life would be age is just a number. I am never too old for love. And hey, that's what my next chapter is going to be like. What is yours going to be like? Then let's talk a little bit about what that framework for that chapter is. Clarity, healing, action, pace, truth, environment, and relationships. That's the chapter framework. Okay, so I want you to take a few minutes and think about clarity. How does that affect your life? What are you seeking to be clear about when it comes to reframing your life? Healing. Where do you need healing in your life? And then action. What actions are you going to take to accomplish clarity and healing? And at what pace? Do you anticipate that it's going to take you a week, a year, a month? And then how are you going to make sure that you embrace the truth of this journey? Are you courageous enough to face the truth and then to do something about it? And then once you establish what your truth is in this new chapter, then you have to cultivate an environment where that truth can grow. Because if you go back to a stinking environment, you're going to get stinking results. So once you cultivate your environment, you're ready for new relationships. And because you know what your own narratives were, you know what happened in your past chapters, you've started the groundwork on your new chapters, you can move forward into the relationship mode. And those relationships should look like clarity, the clarity that you sought. They should be reflective of the healing that you've experienced and the action that you deliberately take to make sure you have the relationships that you dream of. So, we're going to draft your next chapter. The prompt is in the next chapter, I'm choosing to. For me, being an author, I'm kind of wordy. I like to write a lot. I like to describe things to a great extent. So my chapter would be pretty long. But in this next chapter, for while I'm pursuing love or when I'm pursuing love, I am choosing to love myself first. and to love others better. And once I do that, I'm in a best position to embrace someone who is loving me because they'll be attracted to me because I'm healed, because I'm whole, and because they can see that love abides in me. Now, that's my next chapter. Your next chapter may be something totally different. So, you don't want to build Rome in a day, okay? In other words, Rome wasn't built in a day, so your next chapter will not be written in a day. You need to take small steps to writing your next chapter about love. One loving action, take one step and do one loving action for the next 7 days. Small steps equal a big transformation. For example, okay, one loving action for the next 7 days would be to buy myself a flower each day, a different flower, roses one day in appreciation of who I am, sunflowers another. You get the idea. That is a loving action. I am holding myself accountable by celebrating myself with a flower, or maybe listening to a positive music, or looking at a positive movie, allowing yourself to deliberately seek positivity and build that environment around yourself. They say if you do something for about 21 or 40 days, then the transformation will take place. Well, you are in a place right now where you're going to start your journey for the next 7 days. It may be you're going to give yourself 30 minutes quiet time, and you're just going to close your eyes and spend quiet time. Nothing, no telephone, no TV, no radio, no nothing. You're just going to take 30 minutes of that day and love yourself. There are tons of micro actions that you can do to support this next transformation. Just sit down and think about where you want to start and do it. Self love. You teach people how to love you. Self respect is non negotiable. The boundaries that you set, and boundaries are good things. The way you love yourself, the way you love others, that teaches people how to love you. If you allow disrespect, if you allow condemnation, if you allow low self esteem to be the engine that moves you forward, then you won't go far. You need to make sure that you know who you are and that you deserve not just love, but you deserve respect. So if someone crosses a boundary that you set, then you need to know how to say no, or I'm not interested. For example, if you go out on a date and it's your preference to meet the person at the restaurant, if that's where you're going, then that's your preference, okay? That lets that person know that you're safety conscious. You want to meet them, so you're willing to meet them at a restaurant in a public place, but you are safety conscious because you love you and you're valuable to you. Self respect is non negotiable. If a person doesn't respect themselves, others will not respect them. And people can read your chapter really, really quick. They know if you allow them, or if you don't have any boundaries, if you allow them to just walk all over you, or you are a people pleaser, then they know that you don't have a lot of self respect. It's okay to say no. That's what this is all about. It's okay to love you. It's okay to love you so much so that you can say no to certain things when people approach you. Okay, let's go on. Now, our final reflection is this: the new title of my love story. That's the last prompt. You got to start somewhere. If you can title your chapter your love story, then you are almost halfway there, because a title tells the entire story in just one or two lines. And sometimes our love story is so awesome, we'll need a title and a subtitle. So I'm encouraging you to write the title of your new love story. For me, my title would be I Deserve Real Love. And that is the new title of my love story. And I can write 300 pages on the why. Okay. And they may involve some research, but the moral of the story is simply this: you are worthy to be loved. If love has escaped you in this latter season of your life, it's not too late to pursue it, but you need to know what's your old chapter, and you need to identify what you want in your new chapter. So now you have your title in place, which is reflective of what you want in the future. I love romantic novels, particularly history or historical romance. And the reason why I love them is because I take the lessons that people learn from the past and I apply them to my life, the present. And that helps me to have a better future. I love it when a character does something in a book that I can apply to my life. That's why I love to read romance stories, because, they help me identify what it is that I want in my life. Now, I realize that the imagination just runs wild in a romance story, but I'm a mature adult, so I know which things are relevant and that are applicable to my life. I can make that choice because guess what? I know what I want and I want what I want. So, my whole purpose today is to leave you with this thought: you are not the old you are you. And you can become, or you can have whatever it is that you want from love. But you have to have the courage to move forward. And in this session, I hope you have had enough prompts to help you establish what that old narrative was and what the new narrative will be, so that you can take a step towards the love you deserve. Thank you so much for joining me today. I encourage you to continue the journey. Stay connected. Your love story isn't over. Why? Because it's something you desire and you want what you want. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great one. And I hope you're enjoying the summit. I love you, and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Bye bye.